Hey there, how's it going? I hope you're doing well and that you're having an awesome day. Thank you so much for having some patience with me with Pan That Palette update featuring the Kat Von D Vida Loca remix palette. I've tried to film this several times, but for some reason my camera keeps corrupting the footage, so we made it. We're here. So it's been an exciting last couple of weeks. I'm really enjoying this palette. I highly encourage you to also pull out some colorful eyeshadow from your collection because it has been so much fun just pushing myself outside of my comfort zone box of wearing neutrals and just exploring color. And this look is still very neutral, but it has kind of that metallic edge. And in fact, this lip is coming off really metallic on camera, but it's actually quite neutral in person. So I'll kind of talk about those. Actually, let me tell you, the one kind of factor, I recently picked this up, thank you Ashley from Texas Mommy of Boys, with one of her vlogs. She picked this up when she was in Vegas. It's the Marc Jacobs lip lacquer gloss in Changes Enamored. It's really pretty, and what kind of struck me, the reason why I picked it up is, you know, not only when she showed it on her vlog I was intrigued by it, but when I went on the Sephora website, it has kind of a blue shift to it. And in fact, in person, there's definitely blue particles of glimmer. So definitely kind of interesting. I don't really wear gloss anyways, but I do like the formula of this, but the color of it is so different from anything that I've ever owned before or anything that I currently have in my collection. So I thought it might, you know, be really fun to kind of rock a metallic lip along with a metallic eye, since that is really super trendy right now. So anyways, back to the Kat Von D Vida Loca remix palette. I have really made some kind of big observations about this palette. If you're also looking to pan some shadows out of it from your palette, or if you're wanting some feedback kind of on some Kat Von D in general, my experience with this formula. So let me show you back where I was in mid-January, and then we'll talk about where the palette is currently. Okay, here she is. As you can see, I have made quite a bit of progress. One really big observation that I've noticed, it is super easy to consistently pan the exterior color wheel because the shadows are a lot softer. If you're trying to pan the neutral wheel in the center with the shades like Strutter, Noble, Black Metal, Lyric, Skulls, and Molder, these are more densely packed. Very, very interesting. Maybe she did that intentionally, knowing that you'd want more of your neutral shadows to last you through all of these colors, because obviously it is going to take a long time. But that's one of the things that I've noticed for myself, as well as watching you, if you have panned shadows in various painting projects and things like that. So I found that very fascinating. As you can see, the shades that I've used the most of, I've consistently used these every single day since the beginning of January. In particular, Anthem, I love wearing that on my lower lash line. I also have a Get Ready With Me coming, wearing it in my crease to give it more of a fuchsia base with the Rewind shade. I also did a completely purple look, but again, my camera has continued to corrupt my footage, so I've got to figure out the situation. But I have two more Get Ready With Me's coming before we get into March, with all of the kind of the focus on the green with St. Patrick's Day and whatnot. So March is going to be all about green eyeshadow and really kind of figuring things out on this portion of the palette. But Anthem has been a lot of fun to use, and I've fallen in love with Rewind. I'm wearing it today in my crease area. In fact, as of late, I've really enjoyed applying it with this Real Techniques kind of domed crease brush. It's a bigger brush than what I would typically use, but I love just stamping it into that outer corner and then blending it up a little bit. It is super pretty, really quick, really easy. So if you find this brush in a Real Techniques set at Walmart, or if you're buying it at Ulta, this is a really fantastic brush if you have hooded eyes to kind of apply that color to our lid area. I've also, again, why I noticed that the neutral wheel is a lot harder to pan than the exterior. This shade over here, Lyric, I've hit substantial pan. In fact, I'm starting to clear out the sides of it, but I've been using this pretty much every single day as a face highlight, as a highlight on my brow bone, on my inner corner, and I'm still working on this shade. So if I would have had that same kind of enthusiasm with a colorful shade, I'm sure at this point I would have been done with it by now, because I mean, all I've been using Rewind for is like pretty much a crease shade, and look at the progress I've made in that since January. So that proves how densely packed these mid shades are, but they're really, really fun. And in fact, I've gotten a lot of use out of Noble. I'm actually wearing it in my transition today. You can barely tell I've made any progress. I don't even have a dent considering how much I've used it. I've also used Strutter quite a bit because I loved applying it in my transition area with doing things like that, inspired by Jeffree Star's Blood Sugar palette look. So I'll go on and link that in the card above if you're interested in a hot pink kind of focusing. I used a Destroyer, Swoon, Love, as well as Rewind, Anthem, and then I went through with, I think I did Mulder to highlight in that look, but you have a variety of options, and I went through with Fox and other things as well. So it's really been a lot of fun. I've used a ton of these shades, and in fact, one of the ones that really has kind of surprised me is I'm enjoying Love. That was a shade that at first I was kind of like, it's pink. Like, I'm not really into pink eyeshadow. Let's get real. It can tend to make me look pretty sickly, but I've enjoyed wearing this on my inner corner with that bright hot pink Jeffree Star inspired look. I love wearing it on my lid with Rewind in the crease, Muse in the transition, and kind of pop a little bit of Anthem in with the Rewind shade because I'm really in love with that shade Ladyship from the Color Rain Queen of Hearts palette. I do not own the Queen of Hearts palette, but that magenta shade, Georgia Harris, one of her videos, she was wearing like this bright magenta eye and then a bright magenta lip, and I was just enamored with that look. So I've been trying to figure out how to use this palette to recreate that shade because I was just like, I need that pink eyeshadow in my life. Like, it was just like, it wasn't purple, but it wasn't red, but it wasn't pink. It was just the perfect shade of like fuchsia. It was beautiful. So I'll go on and put a picture of Georgia wearing that makeup and then link her video in that in the description box below, because like I said, like every time I saw her makeup, I was like, I want that eyeshadow so bad. So I'm trying to convince myself not to just buy the single of Ladyship because I know Color Rain sells it separately, but I don't know, I might have to pick that up because I can't stop thinking about that shade, and it's been weeks since Georgia made that video and I'm still thinking about that shadow, so kind of intense. All right, then as for the rest of the shades, like I'm getting pretty close to hitting pan on Muse. I kind of walked away from it a while to work on this neutral wheel, but if I put another like week or two, I could probably hit pan in this shade, so we'll see what I can do. I'm probably not going to step back into it till about April because next month, like I said, is going to be all about the greens and kind of figuring those out. So so far so good. I'm really, like I said, I'm enjoying this palette. At this point, I think I've used 17 of the shades because I try to look back before the beginning of the year where I worked with some of the blues, I've worked with the purples, I've worked with the pinks now. The only colors I really haven't stepped into are definitely the yellows and really kind of like the lime greens down here. So I'm really looking forward to see, you know, what I'm going to do that's going to work for me. So it's been good. I feel like I'm off to a good start with this palette. I'm really enjoying it. I hope to keep that momentum up. In fact, I'm feeling even more excited about choosing to pan the palette this year because color is all the rage with trends, with eyeshadow palettes, eyeshadow singles. So I encourage you to pull those out of your collection and have a lot of fun just trying things out, mix colors together, and figure out, you know, wearing pops of color on your lower lash line. Like today I've got Anthem on my lower lash line. I'm wearing a blue mascara layered on top of the black to brighten my eyes. I've got Harpsichord on my lid. I've got Rewind in my crease on top of Noble. And then I'm wearing Lyric to highlight. I love this combination. So it's been a lot of fun. And like, you know, I'm enamored with this palette. Like I've gotten over the hump initially of like dealing with the older eyeshadow because I've realized the other tip for this palette is if you also have it and it's been sitting in your collection, once you get past that initial layer with your shadows, they do come quite a bit easier to use and you get that intense pigmentation that you want. So pull it out, use it, enjoy it while it is still good before it's going to go bad. And just if you're not able to reach for the Vida Loca remix, these colors are actually quite dupable. I'm going to continue posting Get Ready With Me's, talking about other alternatives because I have been able to shop my own stash and find several of these, and if I don't have them immediately on hand, I'm constantly looking around the stores for you for options that you can also incorporate into your routine if you also want to have some colorful eyeshadows. So that about wraps it up. I'm going to continue working on getting those Get Ready With Me's posted for you, so be on the lookout for those. And then also I have a makeup bag recap coming up for the end of February. I can't believe it's the end of February. And then I'm thinking it's going to be 2 to 3 get ready with me's planned for March, with different things I've been inspired by. So take care for now, and I look forward to catching up with you very, very soon. See you later.